Once a week, it seems like my Instagram fills up with boot collectors who have 5 or more pairs of Parkhurst boots. It got to a point where I couldn't consider myself a true boot aficionado without learning more about the brand. So I picked up a pair of the Parkhurst Allen boots in rust waxy leather. Been wearing these for a few months, and here's what I think. The Parkhurst Allen is the brand's signature plain toe boot. I like that Parkhurst has a simple lineup for their collection. They offer a plain toe boot, the Allen right here, a cap toe, a mock toe, and a Chelsea. And within that narrow range, Parkhurst is very imaginative with their leather selection. Have you ever had a pair of moose leather boots? Yeah, me neither. However, I played it a little bit safer with the Allen in rust waxy, which is a wax suede. I'm gonna show you some images and some video of how it's been breaking in and looking and aging over the past month, but it's already starting to look great. The thing I've heard most about is the magic of Parkhurst's last, which is the shape of the boot. And I gotta say, I definitely agree. The Parkhurst Last, the 602, it is awesome. For me, it takes a lot of elements from other brands that I love and it mixes them together. This is the easiest to explain if you're a bit familiar with other brands like Thursday, Grant Stone, and Truman. So here's the Parkhurst Last compared with similar boots from each brand. Parkhurst boots, they're a few millimeters longer than the other 3 brands, and as you can see, they're fairly narrow looking boots. Now this would be a lot more pronounced if I was comparing it to the Red Wing Iron Ranger or some other stubbier boots. However, these don't feel narrow when you're wearing them at all. With that extra length, you actually get a slimmer look, but the ball of your foot sits at a pretty wide spot. The end result is that you get the style of a more narrow boot with the comfort of a wider boot. Right away, I could tell these boots were exceptionally well made. They're crafted using a split reverse welt, which is a form of Goodyear welt that both looks sturdy and has plenty of water resistance. You could absolutely use these as your everyday boots in all sorts of bad weather if you wanted to, or just around town. Parkhurst boots, they used to be made in the USA, but apparently one day the brand's factory partners suddenly shut down with no warning. That's a real punch in the stomach. While I don't have any hands-on experience with Parkhurst's American-made boot line, I can definitely say that this is the new Spanish-made boot, and it is exceptional in terms of craftsmanship. Because of the unique last shape, the Parkhurst Allen is a fantastic casual boot. My own personal style has been trending towards chunkier boots that pair well with straight leg jeans. That's meant I've been wearing slimmer boots like Thursdays or most Chelsea boots a little bit less often. However, I think the Parkhurst Allen is really nicely balanced between looking slim and modern while still having enough heft to fit into a more mature wardrobe. If you're into heritage style or fashion, basically the style associated with Parkhurst boots, then you're gonna love the Heritage Newsletter by BootSpy. This is a weekly newsletter that basically covers everything there is in the heritage fashion world, everything new that's coming out, some of our favorite publications. It's not just BootSpy, we also feature other publications that are releasing amazing new content. Plus we feature Instagram creators for outfit inspiration. So this is a great place to learn about new brands, learn about new styles, see what new boots are coming out, and also any brand discounts out there for both clothing brands and boot brands that you might be interested in. So if you're into heritage fashion, then I highly recommend you use the first link down in the description below. That's gonna take you to a sign up page. You sign up right there, and then the following week, every Thursday night, we send out the Heritage Newsletter by BootSpy, so you'll be getting the very next issue. My Parkhurst Allen boots are made with a custom rust waxy leather. This is a wax suede developed by Parkhurst in tandem with the Spanish tannery. In the first few months of wearing these boots, I've really enjoyed this leather a lot. Now the video and the pictures you're seeing show how this boot has aged over the first month. I love how the suede texture is coming through as the wax wears off at the creases. It's more subtle than a waxed rough out, which I also think is really cool, but it's more subtle in terms of how it creases and the contrast between the parts that have retained the wax and the parts where the original fiber is starting to show through. When it comes to leather care, I'm really not gonna do anything to this. As a wax suede, it won't need conditioning pretty much ever, and it's not like I'm gonna put a shine on these guys, so I'll just leave them alone. Most I'm gonna ever do is give them a brush with a horsehair brush every so often. If they start to get dusty, like more dusty than I want, and then cedar shoe trees, that's basically it, but these boots don't need any shoe care at all. Some of the best aspects of Parkhurst boots are in the parts you don't see. Parkhurst does an excellent job sharing all the gritty details about what goes into their boots on their product pages, which I really appreciate. The Allen here features a leather insole, a leather midsole, a heavy rubber lug outsole. It's all brought together with a reverse split Goodyear welt, which has excellent stitching density, I gotta say too. You're also getting a real veg tan leather heel counter, which means the heel is gonna basically keep its shape forever. You don't have to worry about the boot getting slumpy and suddenly becoming uncomfortable with a Celastic, you know, that can come in. That's something I've noticed on boots that only feature Celastic in the heel that can kind of come in and rub your heel the wrong way. Now between the insole and the midsole, there's a bit of cork filler and a steel shank for stability as well. Parkhurst recommends sizing a half step down from your Brannock device to get the proper fit. However, I ended up getting my Brannock size at 10.5D and they still fit fantastically. I'm usually a 10D in most brands, including Grant Stone, Truman, Thursday, Red Wing. However, I'm rocking a 10.5D in the Parkhurst Allen and I'm loving it. That said, I never complain about my boots. I know there are some guys who are super particular about the fit of their boots, and I'm just not at all. Given that I'm wearing a half size larger than what's recommended, I'd say there's a lot of room for forgiveness with your Parkhurst boots. That said, I don't want to go against the brand's own sizing guidelines because every boot brand has hundreds or thousands of questions about their fit, so they put a ton of effort into communicating every single thing they know, every single thing that they can to make sure you get the right fit. I love that Parkhurst puts all the information possible out there, including how their last looks and how their boots compare to other brands as well. With the rust waxy leather, there really wasn't much of a break-in period at all. With any boot that has a leather insole and midsole, you're gonna have a bit of break-in as your foot sinks into that footbed, so it's not like you're slipping on new tennis shoes or anything like that, but if your fit is even close, you shouldn't have any trouble breaking this leather in particular. Grant Stone offers the most compelling alternative to Parkhurst in my opinion. Comparing the Grant Stone Diesel and the Parkhurst Allen, the Grant Stone's a bit wider, a bit shorter. This can be really helpful if you prefer a wider fit in your boots. Now the price between Grant Stone and Parkhurst is really similar. Grant Stone's about $30 to $40 more expensive, obviously depending on the leathers. But with Grant Stone, you get a wider selection of leathers and also sizing. I'm really impressed with my Parkhurst boots. The brand has a super loyal following, which is richly deserved. Now, while they've made some changes in their boots since moving production to a new Spanish factory, to me, as far as I can tell, the construction quality has remained excellent. I've been really enjoying the rust waxy suede leather here. The way it's been subtly aging makes it easy to put on with pretty much any outfit. Plus, I like the last is a little bit slimmer and longer than what you'd find from other brands up above the $300 price point. Parkhurst boots represent a fantastic value for your money. And if you're on the fence with them, I say go for it. Check out this video next if you want to see the best boots right now.